Well, as we get close to the election time, there's always a couple of issues that seem to take front and center. One of them is immigration, which I'm not going to talk about, but the other is the economy and specifically unemployment. I want to take a look at that issue right now and kind of break it down into two pieces. We're going to first talk a little bit about the definition of the unemployment rate and what that involves. And then we're going to talk about not just the numbers, but the people that are included or excluded from the calculations of the unemployment rate. So let's just get started. We're going to ask Daisy if she's available to help us out. Daisy, are you there and you ready?
Of course, but are you able to listen this time?
I'll give it a shot.
Never mind, love ya, mean it. A practical real estate investment analysis must encompass a comprehensive review of key economic indicators, given the significant impact of macroeconomics on the real estate market. Critical factors such as overall economic growth, interest rates, inflation, and employment levels directly shape the demand for real estate. Notably, periods of high economic growth and low unemployment lead to heightened demand for real estate, driven by increased purchasing power and confidence in the market. Today, let's look briefly at the unemployment rate, labor force participation rate, and labor population ratio. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics compiles the data for all three. The calculations are very similar. However, there are significant differences. As we proceed through our discussion, we will refer to this chart. The unemployment rate is calculated by dividing the number of unemployed individuals in the labor force, see the yellow box, by the total labor force, the sum of employed and unemployed individuals, and multiplying that by 100 to get a percentage. The following graph and chart report the unemployment rate for the last 10 years. The rate has been relatively stable except for 2020, during the shutdown of COVID-19. It is a crucial indicator of the overall health of an economy. A low unemployment rate generally signifies a healthy economy with a strong labor market, while a high unemployment rate may indicate economic distress. Policymakers, including government officials and central banks, use the unemployment rate to make decisions about monetary policy, fiscal policy, and other interventions aimed at stabilizing the economy and reducing unemployment. This graph and chart refer to the labor force participation rate, LFPR. It is calculated by dividing the civilian labor force, the blue box plus the yellow box, by the civilian non-institutional population, gray box, and multiplying the result by 100 to express it as a percentage. The LFPR serves as an indicator of the proportion of the working-age population that is actively engaged in the labor market. A high LFPR can indicate a strong labor market and a more productive economy, while a declining LFPR can signal potential economic challenges. The LFPR affects policy considerations related to workforce development, retirement planning, Social Security, and other social welfare programs. Policymakers use this information to design and adjust policies to address the workforce's needs. Since 2019, that rate went from a high of 63.1% to 62.5% at the end of 2023. Percentage-wise, that may not sound significant. However, it equates to more than 4 million people not counted in the labor force. I'll have more to add about this later. The next graph and chart report the employment population ratio, which is slightly different from the LFPR. It is calculated by dividing the total employed by the civilian non-institutional population, dividing the blue box by the gray box, and then multiplying the result by 100 to express it as a percentage. That calculation differs from the LFPR because it does not include the unemployed, the yellow box. The employment population ratio offers a direct assessment of the degree to which individuals in the working age population are actively participating in the labor force by being employed. It reflects the availability of jobs and the success of individuals in finding work. A high employment population ratio indicates a greater degree of economic well-being within a society as more people contribute to the workforce and potentially earn an income. Let's now look specifically at the portion of the labor force that is not included in any of the calculations, the pink box. The not in the labor force category refers to individuals not classified as employed or unemployed, individuals unemployed for more than 4 weeks. This group typically includes people not actively seeking employment and therefore not considered part of the labor force. This might consist of retired individuals, students, individuals who have chosen not to work, or those who cannot work due to disability or other reasons. Arguably, it can include individuals who would instead not work and collect unemployment benefits. Economic conditions or personal circumstances may discourage some individuals from finding work, causing them to stop actively seeking employment and move into the not in the labor force category. If the LFPR decreases, that will have a dampening effect on the demand for real estate. To fully grasp the importance of this category and the impact it has on the real estate market, let's not talk about percentages. Instead, let's talk about the people in this category. The total number of people not in the labor force is today 99,826,000. Again, these people are not working and not looking for employment. Compare that to the total number of unemployed people, 6,080,000, and reported in unemployment numbers. Added together, the total is 105,906,000. The news reports that we have an excellent economy. After all, the unemployment rate is 3.7%, and a labor shortage is reported. On a certain level, that is excellent and may indicate a healthy real estate market will continue. But does it tell the whole story? The obvious answer is no. Suppose our nation's aim is to increase the number of people working and the nation's productivity. In that case, the focus should be on increasing the number of jobs and less on rewarding people to not work. Hopefully, we are on the right track for a better economy. Incomes increase, and homeownership becomes more affordable. Have you ever wondered how immigration statistics are related to the labor force participation rate? I'll be sure to break it down for you. Immigration statistics, although important, are not directly included in the calculation of the labor force participation rate. This rate specifically looks at the proportion of the population that is actively working or seeking employment, regardless of their immigration status. It's a fascinating way to understand the dynamics of our workforce and how people contribute to our economy. Thank you for your support and stay tuned for more interesting insights.